I never expected to be the kind of person to post something like this, but here I am, sitting alone in my apartment, typing out the most bizarre and emotionally twisted thing that's ever happened in my life. I'm 23F, and until recently, I thought I had my family figured out. Not in the we're perfect and close-knit kind of way. More like, I knew the roles everyone played, and I had accepted how dysfunctional things were. My dad, a cold workaholic. My mom, the peacekeeper and emotional punching bag. My older brother, who moved out the moment he turned 18 and never looked back. And then there was me, the quiet middle child type who tried not to rock the boat. My parents had been together for over 25 years. But only in the technical sense. For as long as I can remember, they fought constantly. Little things always escalated. My dad would raise his voice. My mom would retreat into silence or tears. Sometimes it felt like they were roommates who hated each other. We rarely ate dinner together. Holidays were filled with tension and fake smiles. My brother, Josh, basically checked out by high school. I think the real breaking point came just before I left for college. I walked in on my dad yelling at my mom again. She was crying, holding a plate like she'd dropped it. I remember thinking, they need to get a divorce already. But they didn't. They never did. Instead, my dad moved into the guest room. And they kept playing pretend for the outside world. Fast forward to last year when everything changed. It started with my mom calling a family meeting. That alone was strange. My dad, Josh, and I sat awkwardly around the living room while she paced in front of us, wringing her hands. She looked pale, drained, then she said it, I've been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Time stopped. I remember my dad muttering Jesus, and Josh going stiff. I just stared at her. She explained that she'd noticed a lump, got it checked, had a biopsy, and that the doctors were putting together a treatment plan that included chemo and radiation. She said she didn't want pity, just support. The next few weeks were a blur. My dad started coming home earlier. He cooked dinner for the first time in ever. Josh, who I hadn't seen much in 2 years, started showing up every Sunday. Mom shaved her head after her first round of chemo and wore a scarf. She lost weight. Started moving slower. She had a pill organizer filled with what she said were anti-nausea meds. She wouldn't let us come to appointments with her. Said it was too emotional, that she needed to handle it privately. That we needed to just be strong around her, and we rallied around her. We finally started acting like a family. We cooked together. Watched movies. Played board games. My dad kissed her forehead one night when he thought no one was looking. I almost cried. At one point, I even thought, maybe something good is coming from this. 10 months passed. Then came the miracle. Mom called another family meeting. She was smiling, genuinely smiling, as she told us that the doctors said her tumor had shrunk significantly. That the cancer was almost completely gone. That she might not even need more chemo. We cried. We hugged. We celebrated. We threw her a remission party with balloons and cake. Josh brought his girlfriend. My dad toasted to her strength and resilience. I remember thinking, this is what life should have always been like. Then came the twist. About 2 weeks after the celebration, I was in the kitchen at my parents' place, helping Mom clean up after dinner. She asked me to grab something from her purse. I opened it and found a small paper bag with a receipt sticking out. It was from a pharmacy. I glanced at it without thinking. It was for multivitamins, sleeping pills, and a bottle of hair regrowth serum. That stopped me. I pulled out the receipt and looked closer. No chemo meds. Nothing even remotely prescription strength. All over-the-counter stuff. I didn't say anything right then. I wanted to believe there was a logical explanation. Maybe the pharmacy messed up. Maybe she got prescriptions elsewhere. But my gut screamed otherwise. I started digging. Quietly. Carefully, I called the clinic she said she was going to. Pretended to be her daughter needing to verify appointment details for insurance. The receptionist put me on hold. Then came back confused. They had no patient by my mom's name. Not just no appointments, no record at all. That's when the panic set in. I went through old receipts, checked pill bottles, even looked up the supposed doctor she had mentioned once. He was real, but didn't work in oncology. He was a general practitioner in another city. It was a web of lies. That night, I confronted her. We were alone. I sat her down and simply said, "I know you never had cancer." She didn't deny it. Her face crumpled like a piece of paper. She didn't try to lie. She just started crying, harder than I'd ever seen her cry in my life. She told me everything. She said she had been on the verge of leaving my dad. That she was ready to file for divorce. But then she saw how fractured we all were, how Josh barely came around, how Dad was disconnected, how even I was drifting away. She said one night she was watching a documentary about someone who survived cancer and how it brought their family closer. That something in her mind just snapped. She said she never intended to fake it this long. At first, it was just going to be a scare. Something to make us come together for a few weeks. But when it worked, when we actually started being a family again, she couldn't stop. She said the guilt was eating her alive, but every time she tried to tell the truth, she imagined us going back to how we were. I was speechless. Disgusted. Heartbroken. Betrayed, but worst of all, I understood, and that's what messed me up more than anything. I told her she had to come clean. To tell Josh. To tell Dad. That keeping it a secret wasn't fair, she agreed. But she didn't do it right away. She said she needed a few days. That night, I told Josh everything. He was furious. More at our mom than I'd ever seen. He called her manipulative, a liar, even a sociopath. I tried to calm him down, but I couldn't blame him. Then we sat Dad down. He didn't say much. Just sat there, expressionless. When we were done, he got up, walked out the front door, and didn't come back until morning. The next few weeks were chaos. My dad moved into an Airbnb for a while. Josh stopped coming over. My mom stayed in the house, looking like a ghost. I visited a few times. She tried to explain herself again and again, but it just made things worse. She said she only wanted to save the family. That she never wanted to hurt anyone. Eventually, my dad came back. He told her he was done with the marriage, but wouldn't fight her in court. Said they'd split things amicably. Josh blocked her number, but then something weird happened. Despite everything, the closeness didn't go away. Josh eventually unblocked her and started texting again, short replies, but replies nonetheless. My dad, though separated, still checks in on her. I still visit. We still eat together sometimes. It's like the lie is gone, but the bond stuck, and now I'm stuck in this emotional limbo. She manipulated us. Lied for almost a year. Took advantage of our emotions. But for the first time in years, we're a family. A broken, bruised family, but a connected one. I still don't know how to feel. Part of me wants to cut her off. Another part feels like she actually saved us, in a twisted, morally bankrupt kind of way. I haven't told any of my friends. I haven't posted this anywhere until now. Because honestly, who the hell would believe me?